All right, so you and I are around 40, and we started trying to get into business and success and stuff in our 20s, or kind of our early 20s. And so it's been a long, hard 20 years, right? And so seeing that a lot of people are going through the same thing of just trying to like have success in the sense of like, can I pay my bills? Maybe have a little bit of money extra, not fight with my friends and family, not feel like crap, not be sad and depressed, maybe be a little happy every once in a while.
Right.
Like the bar of success for a lot of us is just like
lower and lower and lower. Yeah.
Right. And it's like when you're going through it, it's so much hell and so hard and you feel very alone. And then when you get out of it, your brain erases it and you never want to talk about it again.
That's so true.
Or like you'll do a quick like success book and then sell it to poor people and make even more money. Here's just something from the FI of like what I'm seeing to be true. Maybe this is my TI or my socionic screw you or whatever, but like this is kind of my truth.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
There seems to be a map of success. There seems to be a map of getting out of depression. There seems to be a map of figuring out that thing that you're stuck with. There seems to be a map of dealing with trauma. Whatever it is we're going through, we feel like we're all alone, and that's the first lie and first illusion. For example, when I have a problem with my cell phone, I feel like there's no map.
Yeah,
there's nobody that's solved this.
Right.
There's no tutorials on YouTube. I'm all alone. I can't ask you for help.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Right.
9 months later, I finally realize that's a lie. I do a Google search. 20 minutes later, I'm on my way. Every time.
Yeah.
So this guy, Cal Newport, that we're kind of studying for a class, like he's really good of like getting down to the simplicity and the clarity. It's a very similar message we've heard from Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Yeah, right.
Of like, look, you can go read and watch biographies and see the story of like, how do you get through what you're getting through to get to that next stage?
Right.
Well, I don't think we think enough about how hard it is to actually do interesting and successful things. And so this is a real issue that I got into in that original book, where young people in particular would write their own script for, this is how I want the world to work. This is how, I want to run this thing and I want it to be really successful and I want X, Y, and Z. And here's what I want to be important for this, that I'm on social media a lot is going to be key, and the fact that I'm just a young go-getter, and this will all work out in about a year. But like the reality is everything that is worthwhile is really, really hard, and it's often really, really specific. And so I'm always telling young people something very similar. Before you make your plan for how you're going to execute, becoming a book author, for example, which a lot of people ask me about. Go talk to authors, figure it out. Figure out what the actual reality is of what matters and how people succeed. Don't write your own script with the answers that you want it to be, because often there's a real conflict. Because it's easy to come up with some plan where you're like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to write 20 pages a day, and something that's kind of hard but not too hard, and you think it's going to be fun, and it might have nothing to do with how that industry works. But on the other hand, if you can get the intelligence, maybe by interning with someone who can actually teach you about the field you really care about, and you understand, this is what's involved, then you know where to put your energy. You know where to get the leverage point. It's why in academia, for example, why the people who write papers for star venues tend to train with other stars. Because you just learn, right? If you're at MIT in the sciences, you're going to learn from people that this is what they do. They write papers for the top places. They know how to do it. The mindset's all built around it. You can see what they pay attention to and what they don't pay attention to. And that type of apprenticeship actually matters.
There's so many lives that you could look at and go, okay, I can choose which one of these lives I actually want to. If you're looking at it conceptually.
Because we're all the same.
We're all the
out.
same.
Yeah.
Nobody's living some magical life that didn't exist before. Now, sure, of course, some of the sensory details are different, but like, really, you can just look at all the lives that have been and be like, okay, that's the kind of life that I want.
Right.
What did they actually have to go through to get there?
Yes.
You can decide ahead of time.
Yes. What he says right here is really what hits me in kind of one line. Figure out what the actual reality is of what matters, of how people succeed.
Yeah.
Don't write your own script.
And don't write your own script, meaning don't go off your own story of how you think success should be, how getting through trauma should be, how dealing with this challenge or programming your phone should be.
Right.
That's where I see myself getting stuck for years of the phone should not be this way.
Right.
And then I'll attack it with that presupposition and just keep hitting a wall.
You have to ask yourself, if somebody else has had success doing along the lines of the things that you want to do in this world, why not you? Why not you? If somebody else can work their phone just fine, why not you? If somebody else can be a top musical star, why not you? Why not? Why not? Why not? And all it takes is just looking at their life and going, if I really want to do that, if I really want to be that successful, if I want to be Michael Jordan successful, what did he have to do in reality to get himself there?
It seems to be that there's a thing in our brain that deceives us and keeps us from that. Because it's so simple once you do it, and you can see it in others, and you tell them what to do, but yourself are trapped in it. It's like there seems to be a program that keeps telling us, no, my thing is special.
Right, I know.
If I can go watch all the biographies, then that doesn't have to deal with my issue. I can look at other people who have gotten through this problem, but that doesn't have to deal with my issue. That little thing that we have so intensely,
It's different.
that seems to be the lie.
And I honestly think, too, another part of the problem is that, say you did hear what Oprah had to go through to get to where she's at. And you're like, okay, great. And then you go to start doing even like 1% of the work that Oprah actually had to do to get to where she's at. And then you're like, well, that's too hard. And your brain then goes,
Right.
that must not be the way. If your brain is designed to go
Right.
after pleasure and not pain, it's like, that can't be the way. That was too hard. And then it's now seeking for some kind of shortcut that somehow doesn't exist yet,
Right.
that you're going to find that you can get to where she's at without having to go through all the work that
So
she
you
had to
got
go
to
through.
trust the map.
Yes.
And not your liar self going to say, it's special, it's too hard.
Yes.
The intoxication I felt at getting a book called So Good They Can't Ignore You, which is certainly your credo in life, is definitely mine. How do people do that? How do they become so good they can't be ignored?
Well, I mean, I say you should look to, let's say, professional musicians, professional athletes, professional chess players, people who have to get good in a world that has a well-defined competence hierarchy, where you have a chess ranking and you can't run away from it. You have a batting average, right? You can't get away from it. Watch how they train. Because in their world, there's a lot of effort that has gone into how do you systematically improve. And what you see is that they deliberately practice. And there's really no shortcut to deliberate practice to gaining mastery in almost any field. But in knowledge work in particular, so in this sort of whole array of sort of various creative and other types of professions, we don't think that way. And people don't actually do a lot of this sort of systematic practice. And so that's why in So Good They Can't Ignore You, I go and I hang out with a professional guitar player.
Speaking of Oprah earlier, one of the things that helped me kind of get going on my Showtime, production, doing YouTube
Yeah.
and stuff over the years,
Yeah.
is I did actually watch on Oprah, like back in the cable TV days, before the internet was really booming, is she did have a whole series of it was like her last year online.
That's right.
Or on the air.
Yeah, it was
where
so
she
good.
showed behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, I loved
And
it.
that goes back to what he's saying, find the real reality.
Yes.
Don't look at our YouTube thing of that's how you do you. Do you have any idea how fucking hard this
Follow
is?
me around for a day.
Do you have any idea what we really, really, really go through all day? Do you have any idea? You have no idea.
No idea.
But if you wanted to know, you could know.
That's so true.
It would be a lot of work, and you would have to find different channels that expose the behind the scenes, the
Right.
making of what it actually takes. And all you would find is just satanic ritual abuse of practice and day-to-day
Yes.
and wear down and
Yes.
hard-ass work.
Right.
And then we put our nice little shirts on and be like, ta-da, it's easy. Oh, I want to do that. I want to be in psychology and be on YouTube. That looks fun and easy. That's your brain trying to paint
It's
that
trying
up.
to shortcut because
could-
it doesn't want it to be that hard.
Right. So seeking, for me, it was the biography channels, and then seeking out any type of production that shows a behind the scenes
God, it's so
of what it
bold.
really takes to make that kind of thing. The point is, it then allows you to see the real map of oh, no wonder this is so damn hard. This stopped everybody else. Here's how they
Yes.
got through it. Oh, no wonder this is no wonder I need to practice. I need to literally spend 10 years going through 13 microphones until I find a microphone that kind of works.
Right.
Oh, that's normal.
And why? Why? Survival of the fittest. If everybody could do this, then there would be no mountain. There would
Right.
be no the fittest. If
Right.
everybody could do this very easily, then there would be no easily. It
Right.
would just be so easy. Why even try?
Right.
It's supposed to be that hard. It's
Right.
supposed to be something that stops 98% of people. out
That's
there.
it. That's it. Then once you see I'm getting my ass kicked all day long, and that's normal
Yes.
to everyone that's on the same path, then you relax a little bit and go, well, let's just get on with it then.
That's it.
Buku loh, namanya buku ajaib. Kalau dilihat bukunya kosong. Dari belakang kosong, dari depan pun kosong. Anehnya kalau ditepuk satu kali, ini bisa keluar gambar. Mang kumaha mimitina katimpring laju nama katimprung warna dibere warna tuh mang boleh, tenang aja. Tepuk lagi. Wow. Ada warnanya.
Widih.
Bosen sama gambar, bosen sama warna, tinggal ditepuk. Hilang. Hilang semua.
Kok bisa sih?